Okay, let's just jump right into a really counterintuitive idea. I mean, what if everything we've been told about building confidence at work is just plain wrong? Let's start with what most people believe.
You know this one, right? The idea that praise, a pat on the back, getting that public shout out, that's what builds you up. It's the bedrock of so many management programs, all these feedback models. The basic assumption is that getting approval from the outside builds that belief on the inside.
Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. What if the data tells a totally different story, especially for high achievers? We're going to look at some hard numbers that suggest for a certain mindset, that old wisdom isn't just wrong, it might actually be doing more harm than good.
So where's the proof, right? Well, it comes from this really cool field called spiral dynamics, which basically maps out different human value systems. And we're going to zoom in on one in particular. It's called Orange, and it's a mindset that is all about strategic achievement and getting results.
Okay, now look at this. This data just lays it all out there, doesn't it? Look at these numbers. For folks operating with that orange mindset, confidence goes up with things like own income and success at work. I mean, that makes total sense, right? Results matter. But, and this is the kicker, look at the bottom two. Recognition by men and recognition by women. Both are negative. Think about that. That means the more this group relies on social praise, the lower their self-confidence actually gets. Wild, right?
So here's the bottom line, this massive contrast. On one side, you've got what works. Real, tangible, results-oriented capability. It's that feeling of knowing, yeah, I can get this done. And on the other side, what doesn't work? Leaning on other people for approval, for praise. For this mindset, confidence isn't something someone gives you, it's something you earn by doing. So why? Why is that? To get that, we need to zoom out a bit.
See, the reason this seems so contradictory is because we're thinking about confidence all wrong. It's not this one-size-fits-all thing. It's validated in totally different ways depending on your core worldview. And that's where a model like spiral dynamics comes in. It helps us see this whole spectrum.
So what exactly is spiral dynamics? The easiest way to think about it is like a set of different glasses people wear to see the world. These lenses, they're called vMEMEs, and they shape what we value, what drives us. Each color you're seeing here, it's a whole different worldview. It could be all about the tribe and belonging, or it could be all about individual power and making your own way.
And boom, this is what makes it all click. For someone with a purple worldview, confidence comes from belonging. For blue, it's about doing your duty. For green, it's about connecting with the community. And right there, there's our orange. For them, confidence is validated by strategic achievement, by results. So you can see how praising an orange-minded person for, say, being a great team player might just fall flat. It's not what their internal system is measuring. And getting that wrong, well, it has some pretty big consequences.
So what actually happens when you get that mismatch? When you use the wrong tool for the job, like trying to motivate an achievement-driven culture with just social praise? It's not just that it doesn't work. It can actually set off a whole negative chain reaction. Just watch how this thing spirals. First, social praise becomes the main way you measure success. Then, because of that, people stop focusing as much on actual results, and it just gets worse. Next, that true capability-based confidence starts to crumble. Then people get rigid. They're afraid to take risks that might not get them praised. And where do you end up? With a system where your metrics for success are totally useless. They don't predict anything.
Yeah, this really nails it. When people see that what's being rewarded isn't real skill, but just, getting a gold star, they lose trust. Trust in the system, trust in leadership, and eventually even trust in themselves. So, how do we get out of this trap? How do we even begin to see these hidden dynamics at play?
Okay, so if all these human dynamics are so complex, how on earth are we supposed to navigate them? Well, this is where it gets really, really cool. We can actually use AI to turn all this squishy psychology into hard math. We can model these human systems in a way we never could before. I absolutely love this quote because it sounds like something straight out of sci-fi, but it's actually starting to happen. The whole idea is to take all that soft stuff, culture, trust, fear, and model it with the same kind of discipline we use for financial forecasts.
And here it is. This is what one of these tools, the SD Navigator, actually looks like in action. So over on the left, you can plug in your team's current psychological profile, their values, what they're afraid of. Then, in the middle, you pick a management action you're thinking about trying. And on the right, bam, you get a simulation of the predicted effects of that action. It's like seeing the ripple effects of a decision before you even make it. It lets you head off that whole negative spiral we were just talking about.
But what's maybe most exciting about this is that these incredibly powerful tools are becoming available to, well, everyone, not just data scientists. You don't have to be a coder anymore to dig into this kind of complex data. You can just use plain English, natural language, to ask questions and get these amazing insights.
So for example, instead of writing a bunch of complicated code, you could literally just type a prompt like this. You're basically just having a conversation with the data. The AI gets the context of spiral dynamics, it knows where to look for the right data set, and it spits out a visualization for you. It's just unbelievably powerful.
So when you put it all together, the data, the psychology, this new AI capability, it all points to one thing. We need to completely reframe this whole conversation. We've been asking the wrong question about confidence all along.
And this is the thought I really want to leave you with. The real question isn't, how do we build more confidence? The real question is, what happens to our systems, our teams, our whole idea of success when we make that shift? When we stop measuring and rewarding social recognition and start measuring actual results-oriented capability? What breaks when we do that? And maybe even more important, what do we get to build in its place?